Fun facts about every country from Afghanistan to Zimbabwe, Part 1. Starting with Afghanistan, a country in Central Asia with an area of about 250,000 square miles. It is a relatively large country bordering other countries like Pakistan and others. Afghanistan is sadly one of the saddest countries in the world with a ranking of 1.5 out of 10. This extremely low number is due to political factors like the Taliban and economic instability, with the country having issues with corruption and a sense of hopelessness divided among its 42 million people population. Also, the world's earliest known oil paintings were actually found here, tracing back to roughly 650 BC that were found in the caves in the Bamiyan Valley. And lastly, Afghanistan is home to some of the best pomegranates on Earth. And that's episode 1. Let me know what you think of the series in the comments, and maybe I'll do more of it. This is episode 2 of Facts About Every Country, starting from Afghanistan to Zimbabwe. This time we're doing Albania. Albania is a relatively large country on the Balkan Peninsula with its capital in Tirana. The country speaks its native language, Albanian. Albania is also home to the Albian Alps and is famous for its mountainous terrain. From about 1946 to 1990, Albania was actually communist. And the last fact about Albania is that it is home to approximately 170,000 bunkers, and in some areas has more bunkers than people. And that's about Albania. Comment if you want to see part 3. This is part 3 of facts about every single country, starting from Afghanistan to Zimbabwe. And going in order, we're starting with Algeria. Famous for being the largest country in Africa with a total land area of about 920,000 square miles, and it has its capital in Algiers. Algeria became independent after a long, brutal struggle, and 160 years after France occupied it, it gained its independence in 1962. Its flag, like many other countries, including Azerbaijan, Turkey, Turkmenistan, Pakistan, and others, contain a crescent and a star, which symbolizes the religion, Islam, and faith of a nation. And lastly, the Sahara Desert takes up about 80% of Algeria. And that's the facts about Algeria. Comment or subscribe if you want to see part 4. Today we're doing part 8 of Facts About Countries, starting from Afghanistan to Zimbabwe. Today we're doing Armenia, formerly known as the Republic of Armenia, is a country in Central Asia that is known for its conflicted and often disturbing history. With its capital in Yerevan, Armenia was contested between the Byzantine, Persian, and Ottoman Empire. Armenia is also the first country to accept Christianity in their country. After the Armenian Genocide, Armenia joined the Soviet Union, and when the Soviet Union collapsed in December 1991, Armenia dismantled from the USSR and gained its independence in September 1991. And that's part 8. Like and comment if you want to see part 9. This is part 4 of Facts About Countries, starting from Afghanistan to Zimbabwe. Today, we're riding into Andorra. And I said riding, not flying, because you can't fly. Andorra has no commercial airports in the entire country. With a population of 77,000, it is a microstate, basically tucked in between Spain and France. Its capital, Andorra la Vella, is the highest capital in Europe, being 3,300 feet above sea level. It has a GDP of about $3 billion and is a very popular tourist spot for people looking for tax-free shopping and the beautiful Pyrenees Mountains that run in it. And that is Andorra. Comment if you want to see part 5. This is part 5 of naming facts about countries starting from Afghanistan to Zimbabwe. Today, we're doing the country of Angola, a country that borders the Atlantic Ocean in southwestern Africa, known for its resource-rich deposits. With a population of 40 million, Angola must have a history behind it, and it does. Angola gained its independence from Portugal after over a decade-long war in 1975, and between 1975 and 2002, Angola endured a brutal civil war between MPLA and UNITA. With its capital in Luandia, it is truly a beautiful country with a scarred history. And that is part 5. Comment or subscribe for part 6. This is part 6 of naming facts about countries starting from Afghanistan to Zimbabwe. Today, we are going to focus on Antigua Barbuda. With a surface area of only 170 square miles, it is one of the smallest island nations in the Americas, ahead of St. Kitts and Nevis and Grenada. It is a country known for its beaches, and it has 365 of them, with its capital on St. John's on Antigua. Its economy mostly comes from tourism, with about 70% of its economic wealth coming from tourism alone. In 1493, Christopher Columbus discovered Antigua Barbuda on his trip to India and gained its independence in 1981. And that's Antigua Barbuda. Comment and like and subscribe for part 7. Here is part 7, facts about every country, starting from Afghanistan to Zimbabwe. Today, we're doing quite a famous one. Argentina. Being the second largest country in South America, only behind Brazil, it is famous for its football. Not that football, this is a different football, this time with balls. Argentina was also home to the largest dinosaur on Earth, Argentinosaurus, in late Cretaceous Patagonia. Parts of Argentina were colonized by the Inca Empire, taken back by Spain, and Argentina gained its independence on July 9, 1816. The capital of Argentina, Buenos Aires, is a fairly popular tourist spot for people observing the things that make Argentina great. And that's part 7. Subscribe or comment if you want to see part 8. This is part 9 of facts about countries starting from Afghanistan to Zimbabwe. For my Aussies, you guys are going to love this video. Today, we're doing Australia. With a land area of 3 million square miles, it is the largest country in the continent of Oceania and 6th largest country in the world. Australia has 6 states: New South Wales, Queensland, South Australia, Tasmania, Victoria, and Western Australia. Known for its, let's just say, interesting wildlife, it is home to approximately 300,000 species of animals. Their most popular animal is obviously the kangaroo. Australia is also famous for being the only country to take up approximately 90% of the continent, with the rest of the continent being divided among various island nations, including New Zealand, Nauru, Tuvalu, and Marshall Islands. With its capital in Canberra, one of its most famous landmarks is the Sydney Opera House in Sydney. And finally, Australia is one of the many countries that use the Union Jack on their flags, famous for being the flag of the United Kingdom, symbolizing the history of their country. And that's Australia. Comment if you want to see part 10. This is part 11 about facts from countries starting from Afghanistan to Zimbabwe. Today, we're going to talk about Austria. With a land area of 32,000 square miles and a population of 9 million, it is a very popular country. Not so fun fact, that one German fella I refuse to name was from Austria. So was a lot of quote-unquote German people that weren't actually German. Austria is a landlocked country with its capital in Vienna. Austria is surrounded on all sides by countries like Germany, Czech, Slovakia, Slovenia, and Hungary. In 1867, the country is now known as Hungary, and of course, Austria formed together to make the unified nation Austria-Hungary and fought against Serbia in the First World War, losing the war along with Germany. And that is about Austria. The next video will wrap up the yay of the countries. This is episode 11 of naming facts about countries starting from Afghanistan to Zimbabwe. Today, we're going to be focusing on the obscure country of Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan is a landlocked country bordering the Caspian Sea and other countries such as Armenia, Russia, Georgia, and Iran. It is famous for its mud volcanoes, hosting 350 out of the 800 plus in the world. With its capital in Baku, it is also, like some countries, a popular tourist spot, and, like a lot of countries, was part of the Soviet Union for a time. It is a predominantly Muslim country, having its flag being an Islamic symbol. And that is Azerbaijan. Like and comment if I should keep going. This is part 13 of naming facts about countries starting from Afghanistan to Zimbabwe. Today we are doing the country of Bahrain. Bahrain, officially the Kingdom of Bahrain, is a small high-income archipelago nation in the Persian Gulf in the Middle East, located near Saudi Arabia, connected by the King Fahd Causeway and Qatar. With its population of 1.6 million people and its capital in Myanmar, it is a constitutional monarchy ruled by the Al Khalifa family. It was the first Gulf state to find oil and build refineries for it. Britain conquered a lot of territories, and one of those was also Bahrain, who declared independence in 1971. It is a predominantly Muslim country with its flag looking eerily similar to the neighboring country of Qatar. And because of the Perpetual Treaty of Peace and the Angola-Qatari Treaty, Britain agreed to leave the two nations alone, with their flags looking similar, representing peace. And that is Bahrain. Subscribe and like for part 14. This is part 12 of naming facts about countries starting from Afghanistan to Zimbabwe. Today, we are doing the Bahamas. The Bahamas is a collection of archipelagos in the West Indies, made up of about 700 islands off the coast of southern United States. With its capital in Nassau, it is a popular tourist spot for people looking for clear, sometimes turquoise water and summer vibes all year round. The Bahamas were originally a colony owned by the British Empire, and it gained its independence in 1973. Its population is around 400,000 plus, with about 700% residing on New Providence Island. And like its neighbor, the United States, it shares a similar culture, speaking English, having a main religion being Christianity, and having a currency, the Bahamian dollar, that is 1-to-1 worth with the US dollar. The Bahamas is also famous for being the home of the notorious pirate lord Blackbeard. It is also home to the deepest blue hole in the world, known as Dean's Blue Hole, and the third largest coral reef in the world. And that is the Bahamas. Tune in next time for part 13. This is part 14 of facts about countries starting from Afghanistan to Zimbabwe. Today, we are doing the nation of Bangladesh. Known as the People's Republic of Bangladesh, it is a densely populated unitary parliamentary republic known as the Land of the Bengals. With the country being located in southern Asia and a land area of 57,000 square miles, it's got a capital in Dhaka, and it was formerly known as East Pakistan until gaining independence in 1971. Its population is 170 million, and the native language is Bengal, also known as Bengali. Bangladesh is also 90% Muslim, with Islam being its main religion. Bangladesh is also home to the Sundarbans, which are the largest mangrove forests in the world. And that is Bangladesh. Like and subscribe for part 15. This is part 15 of Facts About Countries, starting from Afghanistan to Zimbabwe. Today we are doing Barbados. Barbados is an independent island nation in the southeastern Caribbean, known as a top tourist location with a vibrant Bajan culture, white sand beaches, and a British-influenced history. Located east to the West Indies, the island has a tropical climate, and with the capital in Bridgetown, the economy is driven by tourism, international businesses, and financial services. It is also known for having the freshest water in the Caribbean. It is also the birthplace of Rihanna and rum. Barbados was originally a British colony until gaining its independence in 1966. Barbadian Bajan culture is an astonishing blend of West African traditions and British colonial history, often called Bimshire. It is characterized by deep-seated religious roots, the Bajan dialect, a passion for cricket, and a culinary scene centered on flying fish and cacao. The culture is famously community-oriented, festive, and warm. And that is Barbados. Subscribe and comment for part 16. This is part 16 of naming facts about countries, starting from Afghanistan to Zimbabwe. Today we are doing Belarus. Belarus is a landlocked Eastern European country bordering countries like Lithuania, Poland, Russia, and Ukraine. With its capital in Minsk, it was part of the Soviet Union for a while until gaining its independence in 1991. During the Chernobyl disaster in 1986 in Kiev Oblast, Belarus was largely affected by the radiation, accounting for 70% of the radiation spread. The country mainly lives off its big brother, Russia, and largely depends on it for economics and politics. Its most famous food is also known as draniki, potato pancakes. Belarusian culture is a unique, resilient blend of Slavic, Baltic, and European influences rooted in nature and a history of navigating Eastern and Western traditions. And that is Belarus. Subscribe and comment for part 17. This is part 17 of Naming Facts About Countries, starting from Afghanistan to Zimbabwe. Today we're doing a famous nation, simply referred to as Belgium. Also known as the Kingdom of Belgium, or that one country with the black, yellow, and red flag, Belgium is a kingdom in the northeastern Europe and a densely populated constitutional monarchy bordered by France, the Netherlands, Germany, Luxembourg, and the North Sea. Known for its rich cultural heritage, 3 official languages, Dutch, French, German, and federal structures consisting of Flanders, Wallonia, and Brussels. It is a key hub for international politics, hosting the EU and NATO. With its capital in Brussels and being in a geologically tense location in relation to a former Axis power and a former Allied power, Belgium sure does have a history to it. The territory gained independence from the Netherlands in 1830, known as a buffer state. It was heavily affected by both world wars. Fun fact, one of its provinces, known as Luxembourg, is bigger than the real country of Luxembourg. And that is Belgium. Subscribe and like for part 18. This is part 18 of Naming Facts About Countries, starting from Afghanistan to Zimbabwe. Today, we're doing a Central American country, Belize. Known as just Belize, Belize is a country in Central America. The nation is known for its immense biodiversity, the massive Mesoamerican Barrier Reef, including the Great Blue Hole, and rich Mayan history. It is the only country in Central America where its primary language is English. With a population of 400,000 and with its capital in Belmopan, that's not its biggest city, as that belongs to Belize City, and its own capital was in Belize City before being destroyed by Hurricane Hattie in the 1960s. The system of government is a parliamentary democracy and Commonwealth realm with King Charles III as head of state. It also has the lowest population density in Central America. It has the second largest barrier reef in the world, only being beaten by the Great Barrier Reef in Australia. It was originally a British colony known as British Honduras until it gained its independence on September 21, 1981. It is known for its Mayan influence as the Mayan culture spreads throughout northern Central America in Mexico and Belize. And that is Belize. Like and subscribe for part 19. This is part 19 of Naming Facts About Countries, starting from Afghanistan to Zimbabwe. Today we're doing Benin. Also known as the Republic of Benin, Benin is a country in West Africa and is a moderately populated presidential republic bordered by Togo, Nigeria, Burkina Faso, and Niger, with a coastline along the Atlantic Ocean. Known for its rich cultural heritage and diverse ethnic groups, it also has its capital in Porto Novo. Though it's the largest and most economically significant city is Cotonou. It has a mix of cultures and languages, with French as the official language, and it plays an important role in regional trade and being in a region shaped by powerful historic kingdoms and colonial influence. Benin sure does have a history to it. The territory gained independence from France in the 1960s. It was also historically known as Dahomey before changing its name in 1975. It was once home to the powerful kingdom of Dahomey and has remained relatively stable compared to some of the neighboring countries. Benin is also considered the birthplace of Voodoo religion, which influenced spiritual practices in places like Haiti. And that is Billion. Subscribe and like for part 20. This is part 20 of naming facts about countries, starting from Afghanistan to Zimbabwe. Today, we're doing Bhutan. Also known as the Kingdom of Bhutan, Bhutan is a country in South Asia and is a sparsely populated constitutional monarchy bordered by India and China, located high in the Himalayas. Known for its rich cultural heritage and strong Buddhist traditions, it has its capital in Thimphu. It follows a unique development philosophy called gross national happiness, focusing more on well-being than just economic growth, and it places a strong emphasis on preserving its environment and traditions and being in a mountainous and somewhat isolated region. Bhutan sure does have a history to it. The country remained largely isolated from the outside world until the mid-20th century. Bhutan transitioned from an absolute monarchy to a constitutional monarchy in 2008, making it one of the newer democracies in the world, and today it balances modernization with cultural preservation. Fun fact, Bhutan is the only country in the world that is officially carbon negative, meaning it absorbs more carbon dioxide than it produces. And that is Bhutan. Like and subscribe for part 21. This is part 21 of Facts About Countries, starting from Afghanistan to Zimbabwe. Today, we're doing a nation simply referred to as Bolivia. Also known as the plurinational state of Bolivia, Bolivia is a country in South America and is a landlocked nation bordered by Brazil, Argentina, Chile, Peru, and Paraguay. Known for its rich cultural heritage and diverse geography, it has two capitals, Sucre and La Paz, with La Paz being the highest capital city in the world. It is home to a large indigenous population and many official languages, especially Spanish, Quechua, and Aymara, and being in a region shaped by ancient civilizations and colonial influence. Bolivia does have a history to it. The territory gained independence from Spain in 1825. Bolivia was once part of the Inca Empire and later became a Spanish colony, and today it reflects a mix of indigenous and Spanish cultural influences. Fun fact, Bolivia is home to Salar de Uyuni, the largest salt flat in the world. And that is Bolivia. Subscribe and like if I should keep going. This is part 22 of naming facts about countries, starting from Afghanistan to Zimbabwe. Back to Europe. Today we're doing a nation simply referred to as Bosnia and Herzegovina. Bosnia and Herzegovina is a country in southeastern Europe and is a moderately populated republic bordered by Croatia, Serbia, and Montenegro, with a small coastline along the Adriatic Sea. Known for its rich cultural heritage and diverse population, it has its capital in Sarajevo. The country is made up of two main regions, Bosnia and Herzegovina, and has a complex political system created after the conflict in the 1990s. Bosnia and Herzegovina definitely has a complicated history. The territory gained independence from Yugoslavia in 1992. Bosnia and Herzegovina was once part of the Ottoman Empire and later the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and today it reflects a mix of cultures and regions. Fun fact, the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand in Sarajevo in 1914 helped spark World War I. And that is Bosnia and Herzegovina. Subscribe and like for part 23. This is part 23 of Facts About Countries, starting from Afghanistan to Zimbabwe. Today, we're doing a nation simply referred to as Botswana. Also known as the Republic of Botswana, Botswana is a country in southern Africa and is a sparsely populated republic bordered by Namibia, South Africa, Zimbabwe, and Zambia, with a population of around 2.7 million people. Known for its rich wildlife and large natural reserves, it has its capital in Gaborone. Most of the country is covered by the Kalahari Desert, and Botswana is known for having one of the largest elephant populations in the world. The culture of Botswana is heavily influenced by the Tswana people, with traditional music, dance, and storytelling, and colorful clothing continuing to play an important role in the daily life. Botswana has a history shaped by tribal kingdoms, British rule, and rapid economic growth after independence. The territory gained independence from the United Kingdom in 1966. Fun fact, Botswana is home to the Okavango Delta, one of the world's largest inland deltas. And that's Botswana. Subscribe for part 24. This is part 24, Facts About Countries, starting from Afghanistan to Zimbabwe. Today we're doing a nation simply referred to as Brazil. Also known as the Federative Republic of Brazil, Brazil is a country in South America and is the largest country on the continent, bordered by every South American country except Chile and Ecuador, with a population of over 200 million people. Known for its rich culture, massive rainforests, and diverse geography, it has its capital in Brasilia, though its largest city is Sao Paulo. Brazil is the only Portuguese-speaking country in South America, and its culture is influenced by indigenous, African, and European traditions, especially through music, dance, food, and festives. Brazil definitely has a history. The territory gained independence from Portugal in 1822. Brazil was once part of the Portuguese Empire and later became an empire itself before turning into a republic in 1889. Today, it has one of the largest economies in the world and is famous for sports like football. Fun fact, the Amazon rainforest, the largest rainforest on Earth, covers a huge portion of Brazil. And that is Brazil. Subscribe and like for part 25. This is part 25 of Facts About Countries, starting from Afghanistan to Zimbabwe. Today, we're doing a nation simply referred to as Brunei. Also known as Brunei Darussalam, Brunei is a small country in Southeast Asia located on the island of Borneo and is bordered by Malaysia with a coastline along the South China Sea and a population of around 450,000 people. Known for its large oil wealth and its Islamic tradition, it has its capital in Bandar Seri Begawan. The culture of Brunei is heavily influenced by the Malay traditions and Islam, with traditional architecture, clothing, and celebrations continuing to play an important role in daily life. Brunei has a long history connected to trade and regional empires. The country gained full independence from the United Kingdom in 1984. Brunei is ruled by a sultan and is one of the few remaining absolute monarchies in the world because of its oil and natural gas reserves. It also has one of the highest standards of living in the region. Fun fact, Brunei is home to Istana Nurul Iman, which is considered the largest residential palace in the world. I probably butchered that name, but that is Brunei. Subscribe for part 26. This is part 26 of doing Facts About Countries, starting from Afghanistan to Zimbabwe. Today, we're doing a nation simply referred to as Bulgaria. Also known as the Republic of Bulgaria, Bulgaria is a country in southeastern Europe and is bordered by Romania, Serbia, North Macedonia, Greece, Turkey, and the Black Sea, with a population of around 6.4 million people. Known for its rich cultural history and cultural heritage, it has its capital in Sofia. Bulgarian culture is influenced by Slavic, Balkan, and Orthodox Christian traditions, with folk music, dancing, and festivals remaining important today. Bulgaria has a long and eventful history. The country gained independence from the Ottoman Empire in 1908. Bulgaria is one of the first Slavic states that played an important role in the development of the Cyrillic alphabet. Fun fact, Bulgaria is one of the oldest countries in Europe whose name has never changed. And that is Bulgaria. Subscribe and like for part 27. This is part 27 of Facts About Countries, starting from Afghanistan to Zimbabwe. Today, we're doing a nation simply referred to as Burkina Faso. Also known as Burkina Faso, it is a landlocked country in West Africa bordered by Mali, Niger, Benin, Togo, Ghana, and Ivory Coast, with a population of over 23 million people. Known for its diverse cultures and ethnic groups, it has its capital in the country's culture is known for its music, art, and traditional festives, and French is the official language. Burkina Faso has a history shaped by ancient kingdoms, colonial rule, and independence movements. The country gained independence from France in 1960. The country was known as Upper Volta until 1984, when its name was changed to Burkina Faso, meaning Land of the Honest People. Fun fact, Burkina Faso hosts one of Africa's largest film festivals. And that's Burkina Faso. Subscribe for part 28. This is part 28 of Facts About Countries, starting from Afghanistan to Zimbabwe. Today we're doing a nation simply referred to as Burundi. Also known as the Republic of Burundi, Burundi is a landlocked country in East Africa bordered by Rwanda, Tanzania, and the Democratic Republic of the Congo, also known as the DRC, and with a population of around 14 million people. Known for its hills, lakes, and rich traditions, it has its political capital in Gitega. The culture of Burundi is heavily influenced by music, drumming, and storytelling, with traditional drummers being famous around the world. Burundi has a complex history shaped by kingdoms, colonial rule, and independence. The country gained independence from Belgium in 1962. For centuries, Burundi was ruled by a kingdom before becoming a colony and later an independent republic. Fun fact, Burundi is famous for its rural drummers of Burundi, whose performances have been seen around the world. And that's Burundi. Stay tuned for countries starting with C. This is part 29 of Facts About Countries starting from Afghanistan to Zimbabwe. Today we're doing a nation simply referred to as Cape Verde. Also known as the Republic of Cabo Verde, Cape Verde is an island country in the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of West Africa with a population of around 600,000 people. Known for its beautiful islands, volcanic landscapes, and rich cultural heritage, it has its capital in Praia. Cape Verdean culture is influenced by African and Portuguese traditions, especially through its music, cuisine, and festives. Cape Verde also has a history tied to exploration and trade. The country gained independence from Portugal in 1975. Because of its location in the Atlantic, Cape Verde played an important role in maritime trade routes for centuries. Fun fact, Cape Verde consists of 10 main volcanic islands. And that is Cape Verde. Subscribe for part 30. This is part 30 of Facts About Countries starting from Afghanistan to Zimbabwe. Today we're doing a nation simply referred to as Cambodia. Also known as the Kingdom of Cambodia, formerly known as Kampuchea, Cambodia is a country in Southeast Asia bordered by Thailand, Laos, and Vietnam with a population of around 17 million people. Known for its rich history and cultural heritage, it has its capital in Phnom Penh. Cambodian culture is heavily influenced by Buddhism and the legacy of the ancient Khmer civilization. Cambodia definitely has a history. The country was once the center of the powerful Khmer Empire, one of the most influential civilizations in Southeast Asia. Cambodia gained independence from France in 1953 and has undergone significant changes throughout the modern era. Fun fact, Cambodia is home to Angkor Wat, the largest religious monument in the world. And that's Cambodia. Subscribe and like for part 31.